Lagos was a city of noise and heat, a place where the air shimmered with possibility and the streets pulsed with life. Every morning the city woke up in a rush of honking cars, street vendors calling out their wares, and the laughter of children weaving through the crowds. The sun beat down relentlessly, painting everything in gold and sweat. But it was home, a home that thrived on its own rhythm, its own beautiful chaos. In Lagos, every day was a dance between struggle and joy, and I learned to find beauty in the noise, to see hope in the faces of my neighbors. It was a city that taught me resilience, that shaped my dreams and gave me the courage to imagine a life beyond its borders. My dreams of America were woven from Hollywood movies, wide, clean streets, endless possibility. I pictured a place where the sky stretched forever, where every corner held a new adventure and where people walked with purpose, unburdened by the weight of yesterday. America was not just a place, it was a promise. Work hard, succeed, become someone new. It was a land where dreams could be reborn, where I could reinvent myself and make my family proud. I clung to that promise, letting it guide me through every uncertainty. My parents' hopes filled my suitcase, their faith a shield as I left for the airport. Every item I packed was a reminder of their sacrifices, their whispered prayers, and the love that would stretch across oceans to hold me close. I was their ambassador, their proof that a better life was possible. Their eyes shone with pride and worry as they waved goodbye, trusting me to carry their dreams into a new world. The excitement was electric, humming beneath my skin. My heart raced with anticipation, my mind spinning with visions of what could be. I felt the weight of expectation but also the thrill of possibility. I pictured myself in a university, in a bright apartment, already making my family proud. I imagined late nights spent studying, new friends from every corner of the world, and the first time I would call home to say, I made it. These daydreams were my armor against the doubts and stories of struggle. I wrote them down in my journal, turning fear into hope, and hope into determination. I promised myself I would not let fear win. Leaving Nigeria felt like tearing away a piece of myself, but I was flying towards something new. The airport was a blur of tears and goodbyes, but as I boarded the plane I felt a strange calm settle over me, a sense that I was exactly where I needed to be. As the plane lifted off, Lagos became a constellation of fading stars. The city lights twinkled below, a map of memories I would carry with me wherever I went. I was leaving everything I knew, but hope was a roaring fire that burned away my fear. With every mile I felt my courage grow, fueled by the belief that I could build a new life, one filled with promise and light. I believed my story would be one of triumph, a journey not just across continents but into the heart of who I was meant to become. I landed in New York on a crisp autumn day, the kind where the air bites at your skin, and every breath feels like a reminder that you are somewhere new. The city stretched out beneath me, a patchwork of gold and rust, the trees clinging to the last colors of fall. I pressed my forehead to the airplane window, searching for the promise I'd carried across the ocean. The air was sharp and unfamiliar, stinging my lungs with each inhale. It was a cold that seemed to seep into my bones, a chill that made me realize how far I was from everything I knew. The city was overwhelming, giant buildings looming overhead, endless noise echoing through the streets, and a sky that felt indifferent to my arrival. The energy was electric, but it was not welcoming. It was as if the city itself was testing me, daring me to find my place within its chaos. My uncle, older and wearier than I remembered, picked me up at the airport. He drove me through neighborhoods that looked nothing like the America I'd seen in movies, his hands gripping the wheel, his eyes tired from years of hard work. The car was silent except for the hum of the engine and the distant sounds of the city outside. The America of my dreams faded behind graffiti walls and hurried strangers who barely glanced in my direction. The streets were crowded, but I felt completely alone, swallowed by the rush of people who seemed to know exactly where they were going. I expected a warm welcome, a sense of belonging, but found only indifference. The city moved on, uncaring, as if my arrival was just another ripple in its endless tide. I wandered the streets, invisible among the crowds, my confidence unraveling with every step. Each day, the city's vastness made me feel smaller, my voice lost in the roar of traffic and chatter. In Lagos, I was someone, known, recognized, part of a community. Here I was just another face in a sea of strangers, my story unknown and unimportant. My dreams of university and comfort vanished, replaced by long hours washing dishes in the back of a noisy restaurant. The exhaustion was constant, settling into my muscles and my mind. leaving little room for hope. The work was hard, the pay barely enough to cover rent and food. Each paycheck was a reminder of how far I still had to go, how distant my dreams had become. The sunlight I thought I'd brought with me dimmed under the cold gray sky. The city's promise of opportunity felt like a distant echo, drowned out by the reality of survival. I missed the warmth of home, the easy smiles, the laughter that came without effort, the sense of belonging that wrapped around me like a blanket. Here, every day, felt like a struggle to remember who I was. This was not the America I imagined. The dream I'd carried with me was slipping away, replaced by a reality I hadn't prepared for. I had never felt more lost, adrift beneath a sky that seemed to offer no comfort, searching for a place to call my own in a city that barely noticed I was there. Life became a cycle of work and exhaustion, 2 jobs, little sleep, endless fatigue. My earnings were small coins and crumpled bills, each one a piece of my life. Every dollar spent on myself felt like betraying my family's hopes. The American dream demanded relentless sacrifice, stripping life of small joys. I survived on cheap food, dreaming only of rest. Cultural differences became invisible walls. Loneliness was my constant companion. I missed the communal spirit of home, the laughter, the tribe I'd lost. My hands, once soft, grew calloused, proof of my struggle. The physical toll was immense, but the emotional toll was greater. I felt myself hardening, growing cynical. The hopeful girl from Lagos was fading. The dream seemed to move further away the harder I chased it. Phone calls home were both comfort and torment. I painted my life in bright colors, hiding the struggle and loneliness. Admitting the truth felt like shattering the dream for everyone. I missed the taste of my mother's food, the sound of rain on our roof, the laughter of my siblings. America had given me a chance, but taken away my home. Friends moved on without me, connections frayed across time zones. I wondered if the price of my American dream was too high. In the silence of my small room, doubt crept in. Had I made a mistake? Was the dream real, or just a cruel illusion? I carried my fears alone, unable to share them with family or my uncle. The inspiring stories of other immigrants felt like mockery. The temptation to return home was strongest during holidays, when loneliness ached the most. I missed precious moments with family, questioning if the struggle was worth it. The shadow of doubt threatened to swallow me whole. When life pushes you to the very edge, you're faced with a choice: to break under the weight, or to discover a strength you never knew you had. In those moments I found something inside me that refused to shatter. I did not break. Instead, I felt the first sparks of resilience flicker to life, even as everything around me felt unfamiliar and overwhelming. Each day, as I walked the empty streets at dawn, I felt the fire of struggle burning away my old fears. Slowly I changed. The relentless challenges of this new land shaped me, forging me into someone I barely recognized, but someone I was proud to become. I learned to move through the city with a quiet confidence, reading the rhythm of the crowds and finding small moments of kindness in the most unexpected places. A smile from a stranger, a nod from a shopkeeper, a helping hand when I least expected it. Over time, I built a new tribe, a family of fellow immigrants who understood the language of struggle and hope. We shared simple meals, laughter, and stories of home, celebrating every small victory as if it were a triumph. My hands, once soft, grew calloused and strong. Each scar and blister became a badge of pride, not shame, a testament to the work I put in and the dreams I refused to let go of. I survived brutal winters that seemed endless, working long shifts that left me exhausted, and facing nights filled with crushing loneliness. But even in those darkest hours, I held on to hope, believing that every hardship was shaping me for something greater. One morning, as I watched the sun rise over the city, I realized that hope had taken root inside me. It was a hope built not on promises from others but on the strength I had discovered within myself. I began to see my journey differently, not as a series of failures but as a collection of hard-earned lessons. Each setback taught me something new about resilience, patience, and the power of starting over. After months of saving every spare dollar, I finally had enough to enroll in a single community college class. It wasn't much, but it was a step forward, a sign that my sacrifices were building a future. Sitting in that classroom for the first time, surrounded by others chasing their own dreams, I felt a surge of pride. It was a small victory, but to me it felt monumental. It wasn't the grand university I'd once imagined, but it was a beginning, a foundation I could build on, one class at a time. I was no longer just a worker lost in the crowd. I was a student reclaiming my future and building a life on my own terms. With every lesson and every late-night study session, the fire of this new land had not consumed me. Instead, it revealed the steel within me, and I knew I was ready for whatever came next. My life isn't the one I saw in movies, but I am rich in ways I never expected. The American dream is not a destination, but a journey of becoming. My hope is now a steady flame, tested by hardship and tempered by reality. I am more honest with my family and they are proud of the woman I've become. Success is not measured in dollars, but in resilience and self-respect. I find joy in small pleasures, pride in my studies, and peace after a long day's work. The dream is about appreciating what you fought for, not having everything. I lost time and connections, but gained immeasurable strength and understanding. Home is now something I carry within myself. The American dream, for me, is the quiet dawn of a new self, strong, enduring, and full of hope.